And yeah, I really miss Alosha. Hello, Alosha.
So,
Hi.
yeah, we're live streaming, so probably we can start.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
The Earth does
Just,
not.
just, just minute. Just 10 seconds.
I think it's already live on YouTube. Is it? The one right on the edge it says live on YouTube. It's me other than that.
Yes, Hasini, we are on live. Yeah, we can. Yeah. We can go.
The Earth does not belong to us. It is we who belong to the Mother Earth. About 2,500 years back, people did maintain a good relationship with Earth. But over 2,500 years later, we humans had changed the whole lifestyle, developing cities and industries, and this now being called modern life. We have not inherited the earth from our forefathers, but have borrowed it from our grandchildren. People have been both using and misusing natural resources. Our environment today is totally polluted. The water we drink is polluted water. We inhale air full of dust and eat food with traces of pesticides and other toxic chemicals. Who is going to save the Mother Earth? Let's find out with these environmentalists who have been and are supporting the Mother Earth for a change. Hi, everybody. This is me, Hasani Lakshminarayanan, founder of the First Step, a YouTube channel where I am interviewing young achievers. I'm also a freelance writer for the Hindu School Edition, also a reporter for the Brainfeed High magazine, and for the White Canvas India for the Young CEO program. I'm a host, a debater, a blogger, and an interviewer. There are people watching this from over 13 countries, so I'm not sure whether to greet you as good morning, good evening, good afternoon. But the best way to start off is by saying greetings to everybody present here and to those of all of you who are watching this on live. A warm welcome to each and every one of you gathered here to celebrate the World Environmental Day 2021 on this June 5th. I hope everyone is well and safe at the second wave of pandemic, and let's all together restore our beauty of Mother Earth with these amazing personalities. This event is organized by the First Step in association with the CIT Chennai Institute of Technologies, knowledge partner is Skillshark Education Tech, media partner is Brainfeed High Magazine and Climate Samurai, and thanking all of the schools and their respective principals who've been a very big support. Before we could move forward, I take immense pleasure to welcome our co-host for the day, Riyad Maroof Hassan. He is an Indian author, a talk show host, an interviewer, a poet, and an essayist. He is the founder of the media company called The Clippers and an online literature company, Literature on Screen. He founded the Clippers Child Council of India in 2021, which dedicates its aim for the child welfare development of Indian children and moving forward an educated, creative, better, and brighter India. He has been conferred the youngest writer of Assam in India. And now I would like for Riyad to take over to talk about the World Environmental Day 2020. Over to
Thank
you.
you very much, Hasini, for the beautiful introduction. And just like Hasini mentioned, we have such wonderful guests here. So I'd like to start with about World Environmental Day. So World Environmental Day is celebrated annually on 5th June, and it is a United Nations principal vehicle for encouraging awareness and action for the protection of the environment. So first held in 1974, it has been a platform for raising awareness on environmental issues such as marine pollution, then overpopulation, global warming, sustainable consumption, wildlife crime. So, World Environmental Day is a global platform for public outreach with participation over 143 countries annually. So each year, the program has provided a theme and a forum for businesses, non-government organizations, communities, governments, and celebrities to advocate environmental causes. So, to my belief, every person is an environmentalist, and we all need is just to plant a single tree. 1,000 of you can plant one tree each, which can help all of us build thousands of trees together. So we have two senior environmentalists here, and so do we have our young environmentalists. who have already stepped forward to bring out a change. So now I'd like to introduce our guest for today, and I'd like to start with the introduction of our first guest, who is Atya ma'am. So Dr. Atya Kapley ma'am is an Indian environmentalist working in environmental genomics, who is the Asia and Pacific coordinator and vice president for the Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World, and a scientist at the National Environmental Engineering Research Institute. So I'd send my warm welcomes to Atya ma'am to this event for joining us today.
Thank you, Riaz, and thank you, Hasini.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So
It
I'd
is
like to
our
pass my
pleasure.
conversation to Hasini.
It is our pleasure, and now I would like to introduce our second guest for the day, Dr. Kimberly Ray, founder CEO of Marine Conversation Network. She has implemented a new focus of youth ambassador program involving children around the world from the age of 18 to 15 who are becoming actively involved in marine conservation efforts and spreading the word of this mission. She believes that the oceans are the lungs of the planet, providing half of the oxygen we breathe. And if we kill the oceans, then we will die with it. We are very much honored to have you here, ma'am, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm honored.
It's our pleasure. And now to introduce our friends who have been supporting the Mother Earth at a very young age. Starting off with, we have Prasiddhi Singh. Prasiddhi is a social entrepreneur and environmental activist hailing from Chengalpet district of Tamil Nadu, India. She is well noted for having led the plantation program of thousands of trees and 14 forests all across India with a specific focus in the D-Rock Tamil region. Through the Prasiddhi Forest Foundation, she is established in Puducherry, and Prasiddhi had regularly been carrying out environmental activities. We welcome you, Prasiddhi. And I would also like to introduce Alosha. Alosha Samaraarachchi is a young marine biologist all the way from Santa Barbara, California. Also, she is a global youth shark ambassador in the Marine Conversation Network, California. And we welcome you as well, Alosha. Thank you for accepting the invitation. And now,
Hi.
hi, I hope you're doing good. And now I would like to leave it over to Riyadh to take it forward.
Thank you very much. So we have our last guest, but not the least. So they are, I'd like to start with Vinisha Umashankar, who is the inventor of the solar ironing card, popularly known as the solar ironing card girl. Being only 16 years old from a small city of Thiruvannamalai, Tamil Nadu, India, Vinisha has achieved many awards, even difficult to count. But to mention, she has been awarded a Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Ignite Award India, and she was also one of the recipient of Children's Climate Prize in which she got in Sweden, and she is also the Earth Day Network Rising Star of USA. So we welcome you with honor, Vinisha. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. So now I'd like to introduce Nihal Tammana, who is a young entrepreneur, and he is the founder of the Recycle My Battery, and he has found a solution to recycle used batteries, and he's a great job in the field of the environmental issues to solve it. And we welcome you with honor, Nihal. So I welcome every senior environmentalist and also the young environmentalists present here. So and after so means welcoming everybody to for being present here and to thank you for accepting our invitation. So I would now request the chairman of Chennai Institute of Technology to share his thoughts on the World Environmental Day 2021.
No, due to some busy schedule, he is not able to make it. Probably you can just continue on, Asani.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I request Mr. Asher Ahmed, co-founder and director of Skillshark Development and entrepreneur, Skillshark Development and entrepreneur, to share his thoughts on the World Environmental Day 2020. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, greetings to all. I hope my voice is audible to all, and I hope that everyone is doing well and safe. So first of all, I would like to congratulate the first step and Prasiddhi, Riyadh, and all the young budding entrepreneurs as well as innovators plus change makers, those who are trying to foster the ecosystem of skills, innovation, employability, and entrepreneurship. We need to step up and transform our world. And you see, right from the Nihal to Hasni and all the scientists, change makers, and the young entrepreneurs that we have today, we are able to understand that the future needs change, and that change can be brought from the people like you all. And this can be an encouragement for all the people, those who are watching this and viewing this, right? And here, as a skill shark, we are also trying to foster skills, innovation, employability, and entrepreneurship through multiple ways. And our prime focus has been on renewable energy, electric vehicles, and mechatronics engineering. So I believe that when we are talking about electric vehicles, right, we are heading towards electric vehicle ecosystem for a reason of climate change, pollution, and all. So when we are heading towards electric vehicle, we should not forget about the natural remedy called forest, right? Right, Prasiddhi? Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So that is why we need to right, focus on our environment and our surrounding, and every one of us can contribute in whatever small but significant way. So all the very best. And I would like to say, there's one famous quote: we step up, we transform. So we need to step up all together through a collaborative efforts, and we can transform the world. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your
Thank
wonderful
you very much,
thoughts,
sir.
and you did make it very special, sir. Thank you so much. And now, moving on into the session itself, I first request Kimberly ma'am to take over. And my question for you would be, how do you think ocean deoxygenation can be reduced in some way to protect the marine plant and animal species from the paths of extinction? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here today. The first thing we're going to start off with is explaining what is deoxygenation. And yes, that's a hard word even for me too sometimes, so it's okay. Basically, what that means is that we're going to be taking the oxygen out of the ocean and depleting all life on the ocean and on land by not having enough. I have a, let me bring up my screenshot here. Hold on one second.
Yeah, please.
Let's see. See if I can get it. Why is it not working? Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
No problem. Yeah, we can wait.
Can you see my screen yet?
No, I can't, but if anybody else could also. Riyadh, probably if you could see.
No.
No, it's not. I maybe Hasini, you haven't enabled screen sharing, I guess, because
No,
for
no, no.
No,
this
of
She
course.
has a,
There we go.
yeah.
How's
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
now it's
yeah,
visible.
yeah.
Now it's
Okay.
visible.
Now
No,
we
it's
can
good.
see the screen.
Okay, there we go. Okay, then I'm going to move this over a little bit. All right, well, first of all, we have to understand what is happening in the ocean because, like you said before, 50% of our oxygen comes from the trees. The trees are very important, and that is the land part of the earth. The other 50% comes from the ocean, and the ocean is very important to us also. And the way that we get it is through the life that's already in there. But I wanted to show you how this gets started. Phytoplankton is something that lives in the ocean that are very microscopic animals and plants. They're both. Phytoplankton is plants and zooplankton is animals. Phytoplankton, it captures the sunlight and brings in the chlorophyll that it contains. It uses that and dissolves it into the seawater and then puts out oxygen. So it brings in CO2, puts out oxygen. Now, how do these phytoplankton survive? They survive from whales, believe it or not, because when whales are out in the ocean, they do just like everybody else does. They eat and they poop. Their poop is a nutrients for these phytoplanktons that gives them energy and that gives them sustenance so they can then therefore put out the oxygen. Now, without that, they can't survive. Without that, they can't put out the oxygen that we use, that we breathe. So it's very important that the whales are safe. That's one of the things that's happening out in the ocean is there's been a lot of shipping incidences, a lot of ghost netting that are trapping them, which are ending up killing a lot of the whales, and a lot of them beaching, which a lot of them are dying. When all the whales are gone, there's no whale poop for these phytoplanktons to survive. Our whales and all of our oxygen and everything is through the 5 gyres right here. The Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean are the 2 main ones that you see right here in the slide. And we have whales in all waters, believe it or not, some more than others, but those are very important. Now, one thing that I was asked is how can we reduce deoxygenation? Here's one of them. There is a lot of ocean pollution that is going on right now. We have a lot of oil spills, a lot of chemicals that are going into runoffs from up in the mountains coming down to the ocean. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little cotton mouth here. The pollution that comes into the ocean is from chemicals that are being dumped into the water every year. And the companies are dumping big garbage patches. A lot of plastic from other countries are going in there, oil spills. I know over in, I believe, India, Alosha, if you correct me, there was a cargo ship that just caught on fire. Is that correct? Well, the cargo ship caught on fire and now all that plastic is washing ashore. And that is killing and taking away the oxygen, which is killing the phytoplankton that we use to get our oxygen from. Unfortunately, the problem is that it's sight unseen, which means the ocean is so vast. There's trash in the ocean, but the ocean is so vast, we don't see it. So out of sight, out of mind is what we say here. If you don't see the trash, you don't believe it exists. The problem does exist. From people throwing the trash on the ground, from cargo ships like we just saw on the news, burning in the ocean and spilling all their treasures inside, everything. And when you don't see it, you think it's not there, and it is. The way that we can reduce this, it's very, very simple. Be responsible for your trash. Be responsible for your own footprint. Don't leave things on the beach, throw things where they belong properly. And the last thing, get out there and learn. Get out there and put yourself in the position where you can see what's going on. Go down to your beaches, clean up the beaches that when you see trash along the way. Go down to the estuaries and the Everglades over in Florida. Look around. Whenever you see any kind of trash, be sure to pick it up. If you see an oil spill, be sure to notify the authorities and let them know. And please, please make sure that everything you do is sustainable, that you don't leave a footprint behind. Once we change all of that, then we'll start helping the ocean survive.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Indeed, it was very informative. And as children, we had learned a lot about the ocean itself and about deoxygenation. If I'm pronouncing it right again.
Like I
Yeah,
said, it's a hard word to pronounce.
it is for me at least. So, once again, thank you so much for answering the question and for your wonderful presentation, which was very informative indeed. Moving on, I would like to ask my next question to Nihal. You here? So people do have an habit of throwing the used batteries, and on the other hand, you have come with a marvelous topic to recycle them for a better use of those batteries through your organization, Recycle My Battery. So we would like to know how this organization works and how do you relate this organization to a safer use of these used batteries. Over to you, Nihal.
Should I start now?
Yeah,
Okay.
you could.
Can you guess what percentage of people around the world know that batteries should be put inside battery bins and not just the trash? What do you think? Maybe 30%, 40%, or maybe 50%. But actually, it's 1%. I repeat, 1%. That's right. Only 1% of the people around the world know about the battery recycling process. And I think that's something we can change. Hello, everyone. My name is Tammana. I'm a 12-year-old and I live here in the United States of America. And I'm here to talk about my nonprofit organization, Recycle My Battery. So, Recycle My Battery is so one sec. So, it all started on my 10th birthday, which was special in more ways than one. I celebrated it for a whole week and I had an absolutely great time. But wait, there's something else which brings me here today that I want to share with you guys. So my dad likes me to keep up with things, and he said that since now I'm a 10-year-old and I'm growing into a young adult, I should start watching the news with him daily so I would know what's going on all around the world. So that night, I sat beside him to watch the news, and then the story was displayed on the news of which a lithium-ion battery completely exploded in a waste disposal plant in California. It caused unimaginable damage. It costed millions of dollars worth of damage. I clearly remember watching all the chaos and everything occur on the day of my birthday. So my friends and I were all obsessed with drones at that time. And we all know that drones run on rechargeable lithium-ion batteries. So after I realized this, I made a quick connection between the drone and the battery, and I was shocked. How could my cool little toy be potentially linked to massive problems like this? I turned around to my dad and questioned, can anybody do something about this? He answered by saying, yes, it's possible, but many people may be watching the news right now and they wouldn't do anything to help. My dad's comment played in my mind over and over again. So after I watched the news, I started my nonprofit organization, Recycle My Battery, to bring awareness and also provide free battery bins to all of the people so they can get a chance to recycle their used batteries properly to make our beloved Earth a better place to live. Before we move on, I just want to tell you guys my current status. So far, we have recycled 75,000 plus used batteries. We educated over 1 million plus people. We won more than 4 plus national awards, and we have gotten appreciation from many US senators. This all wouldn't have been possible without our 85 plus kids who joined our organization, and they're helping us in making our beloved Earth a better place to live. So special thanks to them. But wait, before we move on, you guys may be wondering, what is a battery? Let's talk about a typical lithium-ion battery. So a lithium-ion battery consists of a liquid electrolyte. A liquid electrolyte prevents the lithiums from moving and causing a small circuit which causes a big fire. If you're wondering what a lithium is a highly reactive metal, which I will tell you guys later. And also lithium-ion batteries consist of electrons. So let's talk about lithium now. Lithium is a highly reactive metal. It reacts in water, releasing a lot of hydrogen gas, and it reacts in fire. If you put a small piece in fire, it can be so bright that it can light up an entire dark house. Let's talk about gold and diamonds. Make a connection. How are gold and diamonds found? Well, you guessed it, mining. They mine the material and rocks so they can get the gold and diamonds. They do the same thing to metals as well. They mine the metals and get the metals and use it in batteries. But wait, mining is actually very bad. They cut down many trees in forests to make space for all of the mining equipment. And mining also has a lot of accidents. You saw some videos of oil mining and oil goes all over the place, right? Well, that can kill many animals. So it can cause many accidents in many animals. So what should we do to prevent mining? To prevent mining, the only solution to this is to just recycle the batteries properly. So the main reason why I started recycling my battery is to bring awareness to everybody about the battery recycling process so they can get a chance to recycle their used batteries properly and they can reduce the mining and protect their environment to make our beloved Earth a better place to live. My goal is to bring down the 15 billion batteries thrown away every year to zero. So 0 batteries are thrown away every year worldwide. I hope to achieve this in the next 10 to 15 years. I just want to wrap it up with my slogan. If we can make Earth a better place to live, you can. If you can make Earth a better place to live, we all can. Looking forward for you guys to join Recycle My Battery and start helping us out. It's only you guys who can make a difference. Thank you.
So true. Being very amazed and surprised to hear, and I did learn a lot as well. And Riyadh, uh, do you want to take over? And Nihal, that was an amazing talk as well. I'll definitely have to appreciate you for that. Well informative. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I hope all the people who are watching live on YouTube may take action right now and recycle their used batteries properly, because it's only you guys who can make a difference. So spread the awareness, please.
We can make a change. Definitely true. And yeah, all the best. And I hope that one day, as you have a mission that can also become a reality one day. All the best for that.
Uh, Thank you very much, Kimberly ma'am and Nihal, because from Kimberly ma'am we learned something about marine conservation, and then from Nihal we learned about the used batteries, how to recycle the battery, and his organization name only defines the meaning: recycle my battery. And these three words have been named for a change, means at the present scenario. So now we'd like to go with our youngest food forest creator of India. So we'll come to something clean and green at this earth. So let us welcome again Prasiddhi. So Prasiddhi, I have a question for you. So Prasiddhi, what is the significance of trees in controlling the air pollution in the urban areas?
Um, so, good evening, everyone. And at the outset, on behalf of the entire Prasiddhi Forest Foundation family, I wish you all a very happy Environment Day. So, in your question, there are three different elements in it: trees, air pollution, and urban area. So, I would like to say that India on the Google map looks green, but in the reality, it's burning. Fossil fuels and power plants, cars are causing more air pollution, and in future also it will keep increasing. The situation is same across the globe. Experts estimate outdoor air pollution kills over 3 million people a year. People are protesting across the world. Big leaders are talking and finding expensive solutions for this problem. And the world is facing unprecedented challenges. And humanity is faced with a choice to go on an unsustainable trajectory or stop, listen, and learn from nature. The solution to many of the problems we encounter are woven in the fabric of the natural world. And that's why we often overlook a great and highly efficient solution: trees against air pollution. Trees keeps you cool, you save energy, you save fossil fuels, and you also save carbon dioxide emissions from burning of fossil fuels. You could calculate the value of a tree by adding all the energy and carbon dioxide emissions it saves in its lifetime. Trees are the most powerful climate compact, and as per the Paris Agreement in COP21, all countries agreed to limit their global temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius. And if we place trees strategically, they have the power to cool it between 2 degrees Celsius to 8 degrees Celsius. And when now this was the second point, and when we come to talk about urban area, trees play an important role in increasing urban biodiversity, providing plants and animals with favorable habitat, food, and other types of protection. A mature tree can absorb up to 150 kgs of carbon dioxide per year, and as a result, Trees play an important role in climate change mitigation, especially in cities with high level of pollution. Trees can improve the air quality by making cities more healthier places to live in. And as an initiative, Prasiddhi Forest Foundation is also on a mission to plant 1 lakh trees by the year 2022. And I would also love to see you all join hands and plant trees together. So, on this amazing day of environment, I am pleased to announce that Prasiddhi Forest Foundation is going digital in planting trees. So if you have any occasion, feel free to plant trees with us on our website. And tomorrow we will be glowing live. So you can plant trees for oxygen, for biodiversity, or even for restoration. Just sitting at your home, you can click and the City Forest Foundation will plant a tree on behalf of you. So, what better than bringing a positive change, which is just a click away? So, you can visit our website, which is www.prasidhiforest.org. We are going live tomorrow, so yet this is all from my side. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much for
much, Prasiddhi.
accepting. Yeah. And being very young, you are the youngest panel speaker in here. And I wish the best for Prasiddhi Forest Foundation to plant 1 lakh trees by the end of the year 2021. So, and yeah, all the best for you, Prasiddhi.
Thank you so
Should
much.
have a slide
Sure.
being
Th-
present.
mm,
Yeah, I would
Thank
like
you
to
very
leave it
much,
over to
Prasiddhi.
you.
I believe your words will stand as an inspiration to the people watching here. You are an 8-year-old girl, and if you can do it, anyone can do it. And just like
True.
Nihal said, if
Exactly.
I can do it, why can't you do it? So we can all do it. So thank you very much for the valuable points and information.
Important is that we'll all do it together.
Yes, and that is true. And only if we'll all join hands together, we can make a change. Because a small 4 millimeter seed has the potential to grow 400 feet tall tree. So we all should become that small seed and make a big change.
Absolutely, Prasiddhi.
Yeah, you can probably go ahead with the next
Okay,
question.
okay. So I have my next question to the solar earning card girl, uh, the climate change prize awardee. So Vinisha, so I have my question to you that do you believe solar energy can fulfill our needs and helping shaping the environment rather than the electrical wires being used at our homes?
First of all, solar energy is definitely very useful in many ways, especially since currently I'm living in India. And India has the capacity to produce 3.5 times more electricity through solar energy than that is currently being used now. Currently, India has the capacity to produce around 1,400 terawatts, which is about the electricity needed for every citizen in this country. But through solar energy, we can produce 5,000 terawatts of electricity. So the question is, why aren't we switching to it right now? Though there are a few complications, the government has actually told that houses which are powering through solar energy get subsidized. So that should be a good enough encouragement for all the citizens across the country to switch to solar energy. And solar energy also uses electricity. So I think the question should be that we should get off the grid and go towards solar energy because though using the electric grid is more efficient on a larger scale, this is more environmentally friendly and can be equally efficient in the long run. So finally, yes, solar energy is better.
True. Yeah,
Thank you very much, Vinisha. So we
yeah,
also
that
got
was
to
well
know about
informative.
the use of polarity and yeah, really well informative, just like Hasini said. So
Yeah,
it's
we were.
really
I
great.
mean, we get to learn a lot, even though.
Yeah.
And now we invite Dr. Atya. Ma'am, we welcome you on board.
Hasini,
Yes.
I'm also supposed to present, so can I present now?
Yeah, sure. Please do go ahead.
Thank you. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Vinisha, can you go ahead?
Just a second.
You have to go for slideshow and put full screen.
So a very good evening to everyone present here. I'm Vinisha Umashankar, studying in grade 10 and in Thiruvannamalai, Tamil Nadu. I'm the innovator of the solar ironing cart and many more eco-friendly innovations. I'm also a public speaker. You could also call me the jack of all trades, master of some, as I have multiple hobbies in sports, arts, music, cooking, science, and technology. Today I'm going to address a concern of many, air pollution and its hazards on human health. So let's dive in. Just before we go into the details of air pollution, I would like to introduce you to a little thing called the solar ironing cart, and it was innovated to prevent deforestation while eliminating the use of charcoal and reducing air pollution. I'll be going in deeper on the details of the innovation further on in the presentation. First, I'd like to address something. Air pollution. It causes a lot of damage, right? We see it every day. Smoke from factories, exhaust from vehicles, and fumes from charcoal. But we hardly pay any attention to it. So, why is that? Why don't we try to prevent it from happening? What happens when we ignore it? When we ignore it, air pollution causes hazards to all living beings, including humans. Surprising, isn't it? When we all talk about climate change and air pollution, we generally stereotype it as affecting the polar bears, but now it's quite more than that, and it's time for us to take action as well. Exposure to polluted air may cause varying respiratory diseases, heart disease, and various types of cancer, as you can see. What makes this worse is those who will be affected the most are children and the elderly. Our future generation and our generation are going to be affected the most due to air pollution, especially since carbon emissions are showing no sign of decreasing right now. Children are at a crucial stage in their growth, and the pollutants in the air will affect them for the rest of their life. All the more reason why we should be focusing on reducing air pollution. This is why clean air is vital for humans and all living beings. Breathing is vital for survival, yet we have polluted the very air we breathe in. But air pollution can be reduced with a combination of our youth and innovation. So youth plus innovation equals no air pollution, as you can see on the screen. Because innovation is a powerful tool which I have used myself to prevent deforestation and the usage of charcoal. Here I'd like to give a brief note about how my innovation, the solar ironing cart, helps prevent air pollution. The solar ironing cart was innovated in 2018 with the aim of eliminating the usage of charcoal and to prevent air pollution due to its fumes. But the solar ironing cart also prevents deforestation, thus preventing oxygen depletion in the air, which is very important since all humans and living organisms require oxygen to breathe. Yet, as I said before, we're polluting the air we breathe in, and that also means we're depleting oxygen, especially due to deforestation. These factors help prevent air pollution, not only on a national but global scale. So the solar ironing cut eliminates the use of charcoal and thus preventing fumes which contain a toxic gas called carbon monoxide. Thus they also reduce air pollution and it reduces deforestation as well because trees and forests are the lung of the earth and reducing deforestation only means it's easier for us to reduce air pollution as well. And finally, all of these advantages combined, it can reduce the severity of climate change, which is one of the pressing global issues at the moment. So now that we know everything about air pollution and climate change, if it is this dangerous, what can we do to prevent it from happening? We can reduce air pollution on various levels across the nation, starting from the central government. As you can see on the screen, national governments can reduce emissions and set national standards that meet air quality guidelines according to the World Health Organization. Investing in research and education around clean air and pollution will be an essential tool as well. Next, cities and local communities can address public policies across various sectors that must factor in public health from the beginning, followed up with sufficient data and tools to assess them. Finally, as individuals, what should we do? Individuals should continue to stand up for our right to healthy and sustainable environments, and we should also hold our governments accountable. Finally, all of us, in governments, businesses, and as individuals, we're all accountable. Think and rethink about the way you live and consume and make sustainable choices for yourself and the coming generations. Then reflect on how you're going on your day to day basis. Soon you'll realize the things you can change, the things you can control, and what you can make better in this world. Thank you so much for watching this, and if you have an idea or passion you're willing to work on, then go ahead and don't stop.
And thank you so much, Vinisha, for sharing your thoughts as well. That was well and informative, and we
Yeah,
Thank you.
get to learn a
I
lot
agree with
also.
Hasini as well. Means it was really wonderful. Just like means your thoughts you presented first, then the screen means everything. It was really amazing.
Thank you so much.
And finally, apologies for the delay. We welcome Atya ma'am. And yeah, I've been waiting to hear from you. So my question would be tree, a word which has been a common name to all environmentalists and the people around the globe, right? So how do you define it and differentiate with places like factories, on the other hand, which are the most polluted areas and where pollution leads out mostly in the environment? So I'm delighted and thank you once again for accepting our invitation. And if you can present as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Hasini. I'm simply amazed at the initiative that all you young students have taken. It's absolutely mind boggling. And let me tell you, as a person working in the area of the environment, I am constantly in a stress of making people aware of, getting them to participate, to take care of the environment. And here I come across so many young innovators and budding scientists who are just looking at saving the environment. And so I'm really impressed and thank you so much. I'm actually really honored to be here. The two presenters, Vinisha, I have heard earlier, and her wonderful innovation of the solar card. I have heard her presentation on that too. But, Nihal and Prasiddhi, they were absolutely wonderful. And just so as you, Hasini and Riyadh, who are conducting this so well, Kimberly started off on a wonderful note, continued by Nihal and Prasiddhi, and then Vinisha. And let me share with you something about my work related to the environment. Give me a minute while I share my screen.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you very much. It is an honor to have you here, means to inspire all of the youngsters.
That is our pleasure, President.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we could.
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, once again, greetings to all of you on the World Environment Day. For those who are observing the Indian time range, good evening, and for those from the USA, good morning. Uh, this year's theme is really very important. It is ecosystem restoration. Just take a look at the pictures on the left panel. You can see what we have done to our environment. So it's really important that we get together and restore this, to give back to Mother Earth what we have taken from it and actually really plundered. And once again, I can't say it enough. I'm just so impressed that we have a whole army of young ones who are ready to take up this mantle and fight all the way and create something new. Even our very beloved late president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he had said that, if you can express children and encourage them to, to express themselves and take risks, you are going to produce the kind of people that this society needs. And all of you who have conducted this program, and all those who are listening and who are taking part in this, you are the kind of people that the world needs right now, especially India, because we have more problems with waste management than the rest of the world. And so thank you, Vinisha, for getting me in the loop of this program. And all of you kids, a big salute to you. Now we have entirely, deteriorated our ecosystem. All these changes that you can see, the climate change, the plastics in the ocean, all the health hazards, the missing of so many species, all this is man-made, what you say, anthropogenic activity. So it's very important that we find the solutions. But to find a solution, you first need to understand what is environmental remediation and take responsibility of it. Who is going to share this responsibility? We need to first ponder on these points. When I was a little girl, we used to play in the grounds in front of our house, and our parents were really happy that we were out of their hair and enjoying ourselves, learning how to cope, learning to interact with different people, and basically enjoying ourselves. Our whole summer holidays were spent playing. But really sadly, I could not give this kind of bringing up to my daughter. She had to pay the price of urbanization. Let's see how. Now, this is a Google Earth image of one region in Hyderabad in the year 2000. And all you young ones, I need you to look at these kind of dots, okay? So all these dots are the buildings, our houses, our schools, any infrastructure. So this was in the year 2000 when my daughter was already 6 years old. You can see, but you can still see there are a lot of vacant spaces. And go to 2017. Just look at the built up. So where is the space for children to grow, to play, to nurture? What has happened to all the green spaces? They have just cut down everything to accommodate our needs, to accommodate our growing population. And this is really a massive problem that the country and you as individuals should address. And it's just not about space, it's just not about space for playing. It is about threatening the actual tree of life. The biodiversity gets threatened. The food chain gets disturbed when you cut down all these forests. Now just take a very quick look at only this strong links diagram, okay? So this is how a food chain works in extremely simple depiction. There's a predator at the top of the chain. It feeds on herbivores and they feed on plants. When we wipe out a species, like for example, you all know that the tiger, there were many species in India, but today there is only one species left, and that is also facing extinction. So, for example, if you remove a predator, then what happens? Your herbivore population grows up and your plants go down. So, you've actually caused a huge shift in community composition. You have altered a food chain, you have created an imbalance in nature, and you know nature doesn't take imbalance very lightly. It gives you back hundredfold, like all this climate change and all these things that are happening. Human health gets impacted. When you lose a diversity, then there is emergence and transmissions of more infectious diseases. So you're actually accelerating these kind of diseases to become rampant. Your economic growth is affected because nature does not just provide you with this. It also is the foundation of economic growth. Basically, your whole ecosystem functioning and stability is threatened when you do such mindless acts. You know, when I was in school, we used to drink water from a tank. There was a tank in the center of the grounds, and it had taps all around it, and all of us children used to go there and drink water. We never carried water bottles to school, but I'm pretty sure that none of you school kids are able to do that today. You all carry your water bottles with filtered water from home. And why is this? Because we have polluted all our natural water bodies, all our freshwater bodies. In India, we do not have a proper sewage treatment. The capacity of sewage treatment in our country for dealing with the sewage that is generated from all our households is only 30 to 40%. And in some cities, even that is not available. So the remaining 70% just flows down the drains and reaches the nearest water body, polluting it and making potable water, a commodity that is becoming rare. You have to buy water these days to drink, which was just not thinkable. So the blame lies in the generation that did not take care. I'm so happy to see that you people are aware, and I'm really sure the next generations will be safe because of the initiatives of all you young people. So this is my institute, NEERI, the National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, where we deal with all factors of the environment. We are based in Nagpur, and I wonder how many of you young girls and boys know that Nagpur lies in the 0 mile of the country. So we are actually the heart of India. We also have zonal centers in Delhi, in Mumbai, in Hyderabad, in Calcutta, and in Chennai. So something very close to some of you Chennai people, you can go ahead and visit. And we deal with all the aspects of the environment. Our institute is totally dedicated to looking at environmental research and finding solutions to all these problems that all of you have been talking about. I work in the area of biotechnology and genomics and apply them to wastewater. I try to study what are the factors that control bioremediation. Bioremediation is the most, what should I say, the green solution to treating environmental pollution. I work a lot with bacteria. Bacteria, they are good bacteria and bad bacteria. So there are a number of good bacteria. So we harness the power of that bacteria and cause and help them to bioremediate, to degrade all the pollutants that are, man-made, all your pesticides, the drugs, so many chemicals that are coming out of our factories. Bacteria help in biodegradation of these. We did a wonderful project during the Kumbh Mela of 2019, where we created a technology called Renew, which rejuvenates basically the drain water that I spoke to you about. And the government of India was so keen on having clean water for the devotees who were going to participate in the Kumbh Mela of 2019. And so we had this project of cleaning the drains that were leading into Ganga. If you can see on the right side panel is the final output, the treated water. You can see how clean it becomes by just using this technology that came out of our institute. We also got an award, a technology award, because we demonstrated this and it had a lot of public use, because millions of people go to the Kumbh site. The Kumbh is a very holy river event for us in India. Now, I really wish that I could end this talk of mine with this picture. This is the happy story. We developed a technology, we demonstrated its use, and we actually brought it out in the public, and we helped the society. But very sadly, my story does not end here. This is what the people who live around those drains have done to the technology that we have implemented. You can see here, we had put up these, it's a screen with iron rods, so that as the water flows, the solid waste doesn't flow along with it, and our treatment does not get hampered. So the people living around have just plucked away all. You can see here that all the rods are gone. And one lunch or dinner of the community around this area, and all the pattal and disposable plates have been dumped into that. So it's really sad. So my message here is that a handful of scientists and a few policymakers are not going to be able to change the state of the environment. It's the people, the citizens, who need to take on this responsibility. They need to understand that it's our environment and we need to keep it clean. Until this kind of a responsibility sharing does not happen, then the Swachh Bharat dream, the clean India, the save the environment, which is around the globe, is going to be nothing but a few buzzwords. So I'm really, once again, let me just say that I'm so happy that you students are becoming the torch bearers. I think the world listens more to younger voices than people like me. So I'm really happy that you are all here to take the baton forward. I'm going to end with just this slide. The University of Colorado, I found this on the internet, they created a phylogenetic tree. This is called a phylogenetic tree, where you map all the closely related species. So this is a tree of the animal kingdom. And you can see that Homo sapiens, we represent just this one little blue line. But unfortunately, this one blue line has the power to completely destroy the environment, which is what we are on a path of doing. And all the people need to, get up and reverse the damage or the mindless acts of plundering the environment that our earlier generations have done. They say that dinosaurs we have not seen dinosaurs, right? They walked the earth millions of years ago, and today they say that whatever oil we're using is all the dinosaur soup. So I hope one day we don't become soup for the future generations. But even Charles Darwin said, it's the survival of the fittest. And so biodiversity loss and removal of species is a natural phenomenon, because the earth allows you, it doesn't differentiate, it allows the fittest to survive. But what mankind is doing today is accelerating this by 1,000-fold. So can we really undo whatever harm we have caused to the environment? And I was so happy to hear, Prasiddhi and Nihal and Vinisha. They have just, showed me that yes, we can. There is a whole generation who is ready to take up this challenge and undo all the damage that is done. So once again, hats off to all you kids, and thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your initiative. I would really love to be associated with all of you and take your wonderful work forward. You know, being a part of a national laboratory that deals with the environment, I really request all you young innovators to send me an email with with a, like a flyer of your groups or your foundations, so I can also increase your outreach and get more and more people to work with you. So thank you all. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here.
Pretty much amazing, because as far as me at least, I of course know that there are a lot of environmental issues going around the world, but did not know that these many problems are actually being present, which were all created by us humans. But I guess it was very very informative, and from now on we can take an initiative to bring a change, and probably a future generation can get better. And Riyadh, yeah, I guess you're waiting to say something.
Means I was really pondering through your presentation, your slides, Atya ma'am. Means it was really means it really stands as an inspiration to all of us, especially the youngsters present here. Means the most of us, and also to the people watching. So it was really amazing. That means just like Hasini said, means there are means you can say million of environmental issues still left to be solved, and if we try to go with means solving one by one with such young environmentalists and people like you, ma'am, means we will fulfill our dreams, and maybe we can move forward at this moment. So now I'd like to ask my next question to Alosha. So Alosha, according to your point of view, how have coral reefs been supporting the marine ecosystems?
Hi, I'm Alosha. Uh,
Hello.
I, I'm 10 years old. I'm from Sri Lanka, and I'm an ambassador at the Marine Conservation Network in Santa Barbara, and I'm a global youth shark ambassador at El Porto Shark. And a young marine biologist from the Young Marine Biologist Association in the UK. So before I answer, I have sad news to say. A ship called the MV Express Pearl has burned and is sinking as we speak. It carried 25 metric tons of nitric acid and 300 million plastic microbeads like these. And the microbeads have been released and are conquering the oceans, destroying all marine life in its path. So in the west coast of Sri Lanka, these microbeads have gathered up in huge piles on the beaches, kind of like a snowstorm. And these are getting attached in gills, mouths, and blowholes of animals. So the oil from that ship is also leaking, which is covering the surface of the ocean black. And when marine mammals like whales are going to breathe, their blowholes get full of black oil, and then they suffocate to death. So why do humans transport such toxic chemicals from sea when they know that the ship could somehow collapse, and then all those chemicals can go to the ocean and then affect all marine life? So this occurs by man-made human error. We are the responsibility for all this destruction. We can still fix this when we have time. Okay, so now I'm going to move to my... Now I'm going to talk about coral biodiversity. So at first, what is coral? Coral actually looks like a rock, a colorful rock or a plant from far away. But when you go up close, it's actually an animal. Coral polyps. Coral polyps are a fleshy tube with tentacles. And inside of that tube is algae. So this algae has a symbiotic relationship with the coral polyps. So the corals get 90% of their food from that algae, and the other 10% they use by catching zooplankton and amphipods with the hooks or harpoons in their tentacles. So there are 4 types of coral: deep sea coral and shallow water coral, and the other 2 are soft coral and hard coral. So at the night, this place is very special because it lights up. Bioluminescence. So bioluminescence is not only important in the deep sea, but it's also important in shallow waters too. So animals like fish, sea stars, and even the coral itself glows. And how much biodiversity does this complex metropolis have? Well, they actually have 25% of all the biodiversity of the ocean, even though it covers a small part of the seafloor. You could find fish like angelfish, moray eels, and many other types. You could find rays, marine mammals, like dolphins and porpoises also like to hang out here. So crustaceans like lobsters, crabs, and shrimp live here, inside the nooks and crannies of the corals. So sharks like Caribbean reef sharks and black-tip sharks and white-tips. So sharks are actually not the murderous man-killers they look like from the outside. They're actually gentle and peaceful creatures. Now baby fish, larvae, and sponge larvae hover above the coral reef as zooplankton. All beings here start as zooplankton. Even the corals itself begin as zooplankton. So algae and diatoms are everywhere, like the symbiotic relationship in the coral polyp and the algae species. So what are the issues facing the corals? Coral bleaching. So what is coral bleaching? Coral bleaching can express stress, death, and death. Well, this happens when the sea level temperature and the sea level rises, and then the algae leaves the coral polyps, and then the coral loses their color. So it may look a beautiful sight, but it's actually devastating. And because of this, the corals might starve to death if the algae do not return. This leaves dedicated dead zones. And chemicals from the sea, like from the express pearl, are melting out the calcium carbonate that are in the coral skeleton. So we have to protect coral reefs because they are a very fragile habitat. Because of pollution, acids, and all other things, coral reefs are becoming more fragile than ever. Because coral reefs grow only 2 meters every 100 years. because of the slow process of the calcium carbonate gathering from seawater. So we must stop ocean pollution. So together we can save the ocean. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you
was
very much,
yeah.
Alosha.
Please do.
So means it was really inspiring from means to hear from young environmentalists like you because we heard about from a senior environmentalist about marine conservation and now from you, so it was really insightful. So now I'd like to ask my question to the senior marine environmentalist. So Kimberly ma'am, my question to you is what are the prime negative effects of commercial fish farming in oceans and large water bodies?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, Alosha, fantastic job. You did really, really well explaining that. I'm really proud of you, and we're honored to have you on our team.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There are actually pros and cons to commercial farming. First of all, I'm going to explain to everybody, commercial farming is where fish are raised in a pen or a tank specifically for food or money. That's what commercial fish farming is. They're farming the fish. And there are pros and cons to it. And not all fish farming is bad, but there are some that are. The pros are that they replenish the food that people are trying to get more reserved on, and at a faster rate than the ocean can produce it. If we wait for the breeds in the ocean to produce the amount that we need, it may not be fast enough. So that's why they started the fish farming. It also develops employment. It develops a lot of jobs that people can go out there and get paid to raise fish. And it is a very nutritional food that we need to have in our diet. Now, the cons of it are much more than the pros. The cons outweigh the pros, as they say. The cons are, which is a negative aspect of it, is you have all those fish compacted in a small area in the open ocean, which means the water from the open ocean and in the farm blend together. So it's not separated. And because of that, you have, say, 100 fish in one small area as opposed to 100 fish in miles of water. Because of that, you have transmission of diseases from the fish in the farm to the fish and wildlife. And that could be anywhere from kidney disease, lice, worms, gill disease, which means the wild ones will end up dying just as much as the farmed ones will. So that's not good because you have the two waters mixing and the diseases transmit out to the wildlife. You also have antibiotics. Because these fish are in a closed corridor, they are now given antibiotics to keep them healthier than what they would be. But now those antibiotics are getting into the ocean, which the wild fish are not used to, which can kill them off and cause problems with them. So it's kind of counterproductive. You've got the antibiotics to keep them healthy in the fish farm, but yet the antibiotics could kill the wild ones. So it's kind of hard to decide on what to do. Also, in the fish farms, believe it or not, you use fresh water as opposed to the salt water to keep that fish farm going. And you use that fresh water to create their meals that you feed the fish, to recycle the water that's in there, which is not good because you lose a lot of the natural nutrients that is in the seawater. And and like I said, with the transmission of diseases, you also transmission nutrients. The fish in the fish farms will get fed either antibiotics, fish meal that's grounded up, meaning they're eating parts of other fish that they probably normally would not eat, or you have too much food in one area as opposed to the open ocean. The food is spread out where there's plenty for everybody, and it doesn't collaborate and conduce more germs and more bacteria that the wild ones normally would not get. The way that you can think of it in a fish farm, think of your refrigerator with tons of food packed top to bottom, front to back, no air circulation whatsoever, and your food starts growing mildew and mold and getting spoiled. That's basically what's happening in the fish farms. The food is impacted, it's in close quarters, and it's getting all kinds of bacteria, but it's also going out into the wild open ocean. and now the fish out there are going to get sick. So we have to find a way to where there's a balance, to where, okay, you can raise the fish, but it's not going to harm them, harm us, or harm the wildlife. The wildlife is our future. The wildlife is what gives the ocean life, gives us food, gives us oxygen. But the captive ones are the ones that we have a problem with, to where it's not as nutritious as you would think it would be. So those are the pros and cons of it. Some fish farms are good. I'm not condemning all fish farms, but the majority of them are not in a good area and are too impacted and are leading out into the open ocean, where we then get bacteria and spoiled food and other diseases that we end up taking in because now the wild fish have it. So those are the pros and cons of fish farming. We need to find a way to balance it out to where we can still get our food, because man is living off the water for hundreds of years, but there's got to be a better way to where the fish survive, the ocean survives, but we also are healthy and taken care of.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Means it was really informative for all of us present here. So now I'd like to pass my conversation to Hasini.
So yeah, I would again like to thank Kimberly ma'am for answering that question, because I did not know that much about the prime negative factors of fish farming, nor even the positive things. But just so you shared, I do get to learn a lot, and I hope the people as well watching. And yeah, once again, thank you. I mean, it's an honor having you here. And yeah, I would
Always,
like to
always
move on.
one last thing, always ask where your fish is coming from. You're better off getting the wild if you can prevent it, but always ask your restaurants or your stores, where did this fish come from? Was it farmed or was it wild caught? If you can go for wild caught, do it. That's the best, healthiest fish. If you're going to eat fish at all, the best way to go.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Thank you very
Maybe
much, ma'am.
not me as I'm a vegetarian, but yeah, still moving ahead. I would like to thank Atya ma'am for those appreciations, and I do have a question for you, ma'am. Uh, isn't this an irony thing that global leaders are talking about climate sitting in air conditioner rooms, traveling in private jets? So my question is, what kind of air pollution or global warming that air conditioners cause? And can we talk, or is it right to talk about the environment sitting in AC rooms? And yeah, if you can answer this question. And this was from Mr. Santu Mukherjee from Climate Samurai. So
Right,
that's my
you're
question.
absolutely right, Hasini. We all sit in nice air-conditioned offices, and then we talk about global warming and all that. But this is like, what should I say? It is the price of urbanization. You know, it's not only these air conditioners or the jets and things like that, but every step of urbanization has contributed to the deterioration of the environment. All our refrigerators, our vehicles, and our air conditioners, they release these toxic gases. They are dioxins and furans that are released, that cause a hole in the ozone layer, and basically this is what creates the uh, global warming. But like I said, this is the price of urbanization, and it's not going to stop. So, what technology needs to come up is to replace these harmful chemicals with lesser harmful one. Of course, there is no chemical that is not harmful. You need to strike a balance. Now you're, like you have the next generation of air conditioners and things that are more fuel efficient than the ones that were say 10 years ago. So every time the industry gives there are some kind of markers where they say, "Okay, now this is more environment friendly than the others." So on a continuous basis, research and development is going on happening to lessen the load. It's going to be really difficult to say no, don't use the ACs, but use it to minimum, use it to a temperature that is acceptable, not use it wisely, you know. So those kind of things, we have to create a balance. We are already living in one world. You see, the urban population is actually used to all these, the cars, the jets, and the air conditioners, and the refrigerators, but the rural population still does not use all that, but once they come into the urban setting, then they want to go back and do the same thing. So this is the price we pay for a better quality of life in the materialistic way. But like Kimberly said, for everything there has to be a balance. So research and technology should be focused on finding solutions that take all these devices to a lesser pollution levels. Like you have the fuels. So now you are shifting to gas, CNG. So they release lesser air pollution. So like this, we have to keep finding different solutions to minimize the impact on the environment. Does that answer your question?
Definitely it does, and yeah, it's so damn true. And we did also learn something from the uh, experience, as I could say. Probably that is appropriate for me to use. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for accepting the invitation and answering the question as well. And now, I guess you could see a presentation.
An example for how we can reduce pollution and emissions using sustainable technologies.
And yeah, thank you, Ashar sir, for sharing it. Though, I mean, we weren't able to hear you properly. If you can go ahead, because your voice wasn't that clear.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. So just an example to share with you all how we can reduce emissions using electric vehicles. You see, the conventional vehicles that used to be there, a petrol vehicle, diesel vehicle. So at a time there used to be a huge amount of emissions from it. And as we are heading towards electric vehicle, so electric vehicle, charging electric vehicle on grid and charging electric vehicle with renewables, right? We will be able to head our nation as well as our entire world towards the sustainable technology by switching towards electric vehicles and sustainable technologies.
Yeah, and thank you, for giving an appropriate solution as well. And thank you for sharing. That was informative. And I once again thank each and every one of you. And we're very much delighted to do the vote of thanks. And I would first leave it over to Riyadh to take over.
Thank you very much. So, dear Mother Earth, thousands of years have passed, but not something to prevent the harm of your pleasure. Your charming beauty is our pride, and you have been the reason to billions of people since uncountable parts of millenniums of life. But we are sad but determined to find someone who will save you, and maybe in the next years, those golden years would come back when we used to walk past trees instead of buildings, where we used to feel the cool air instead of air conditioners, where we had a life tuned by infinite songs of nature.
With this, let's all bring out the change together, showing my gratitude to all of the people who have been watching it on live and to all of our speakers and our guests as well. Even a small initiative you take might be the biggest help you could do. And I would like to share a famous quote as well in here. If you remember, grandfather saw it in rivers, father saw it in wells, we see it in taps, our children see it in bottles. Where will our grandchildren see it in? In capsules? If we still misuse it, it will only be seen on our tears. And I would want to share this quote with all of you to sign off, and let's be the change. I would again like to thank Kimberly ma'am and Dr. Atya ma'am for making this a huge successful event by sharing your valuable thoughts. And I did get to learn a lot, and hope the others as well did. And I would also like to thank our friends here who had played a very important role throughout the event. And we wish the best for you in your future. And this event was organized by the First Step in association with the CIT Chennai Institute of Technologies, Knowledge Partner, Skillshark, Media Partner, Break It High Magazine, and Climate Samurai. And a very big thanks to all of the viewers who had been a part, and a very big support from, I believe, over 13 countries and 27 states from India. And I hope you're well and safe from wherever you are. Thanking all. This is Hasini here. Riyadh?
And thank you very much, Hasini. And it was really a wonderful quote. So let's be the change, just like Hasini said. And the sun will set, but it will rise again in the next morning. But this time, let us make it brighter than anything. Let it let its shade fall into trees and those rustling leaves. Let the world be a better place to live again, and Tomorrowland of our dreams turn into reality. And song of a world with stories of the environment that never ends. I, Riyadh Maruf Hassan, and my co-host Hasini Lakshminayanan are signing off and continuing our journey finding someone who will save the Mother Earth. Thank you.
Thank you. And people watching this
Thank you, both of you. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
thank you.
Together, we can make oceans of difference.
Yeah.
Speaker, Alosha, and to all those other speakers
Exactly,
as well.
Alosha.
Congratulations to all the young speakers. You were really wonderful. I'm really so impressed at your dedication.
Thank you
And
so much for
Thank you so much.
thank you so
We need
much.
more young people like you. We need more people like
yes,
you on the panel. It's
you.
fantastic.
And
Thank
we
you very much,
need
ma'am.
more elder people like you who can encourage all the young people to do something.
And I like to add with Prasiddhi's statement that means your inspiration and support to help us grow, because it's all because of you, all because of your inspiration, support, and motivation. We are
We get.
trying to climb the ladder.
Yeah.
I would
And
be really happy to take our institute, facilities to help you kids to nurture your dreams of saving the environment. So
yeah,
all of you, please get in touch.
And we need more ocean heroes and young, passionate environmentalists.
Like Alosha herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
And
I'd like to say one thing, Alosha, here.
Yeah, next time when a battery runs out of yours, make sure to recycle it properly.
Very
and,
good.
yeah,
I think we
please do
can
go.
sign off now. Can we leave,
Yes, we
Hasini?
could.
Yes. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care
Thank
and
you very
bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.